I was a victim of unfairness, but I was not the only one. I've just remembered a colleague and a friend called SHIVACHI LUKWA. Yeah, I think he's SHIVACHI LUKWA. Now, SHIVACHI LUKWA used to work, and he worked for a long time with delayed promotion and so on and so forth. And as he was, when he had about 10 years service left, they decided to transfer him to Mandera as the deputy OCS. You know, those days, instead of sacking you, they would let you sack yourself. These are occasions when you'd be taken to those areas. Maybe those areas today are okay, but I'm talking, bearing in mind, transferring you to that time. So he was taken to Mandera as a deputy OCS. People just wished that he would be taken there, and he resigns. Afterwards, I remember another police officer or an inspector who was working in traffic and acquired a lot of money. Then one day he constructed a 5-storied building in his home area in Bungoma, and then he was taken to Garissa. He didn't stay in Garissa for 3 months. He was given a platoon to chase shifters, and he was shot in the hand. So you'll find that for somebody who has stayed in down country for a very long time, being told that you are now being transferred to operation area, a good number of them used to resign. So him, approaching 45 years, he was taken to Mandera, but he decided not to resign. He decided not to resign. He decided to continue with the work. But Waswahili wanasema Mungu si adhumani. When he arrived in Mandera, the police decided to scrap some ranks. Some of the ranks that were being scrapped were senior sergeant and chief inspector. So it was scrapped, and then there was an interview for people to go for superintendent's course. You know, those days, and even today, those who are going for assistant superintendent's course, because it was reintroduced later, but those days it was chief inspector to superintendent. For someone who wants to be promoted to those ranks, he or she has to be a chief inspector. So this rank was declared that it was going to be done away with. So they said that inspectors who have been inspectors for so long can attend the interview. He attended the interview for superintendents, and he was successful. I remember he was the inspector he was deputizing didn't pass the interview, and he passed. And then suddenly the government decided they'll reintroduce the ranks of chief inspector. So everybody who had passed the interview as an inspector, including Andrew Kimeto, they were promoted to chief inspector and immediately went to Kiganjo for gazetted officers course. Now, when he came back to Mandera as an acting superintendent. Nowadays, they are called assistant superintendent. He came there as an assistant superintendent and was transferred out of Mandera to the police headquarters in charge of Q. Q is a section that deals with, I don't know whether it still deals with, but it is to do with clothing, quartermaster. He worked there for some time. And I told you he was approaching retirement. So he stayed in police headquarters until he was confirmed as a superintendent. And then when he was confirmed as a superintendent, he was transferred to Molo. Now what happened to Molo was that he took over from Kimayo. I know you'll ask which Kimayo, but if I tell you, he took over from Sieke. Sieke was the OCPD Molo, and he handed over to Shivachi Lukwa. Sieke was a senior superintendent, so he was made an assistant commissioner of police and taken to presidential escort, where he rose up to be the commandant, and I think he later became the commandant of GSU, something like that. Shivachi Lukwa took over from Sieke as the OCPD Molo. And then after some time, it was noticed that he was a superintendent and an OCPD for Molo. And his deputy was also a superintendent. So it was decided that he be made an acting senior superintendent of police. So he was made as an acting senior superintendent of police, OCPD Molo. Then one day somebody came. Kikuyus by nature. Kikuyus by nature. You see, this is something that I've been, in fact, whenever I visit my people, my mother's people, that is, I usually, not even them, everybody, I usually try to understand them. And there is a mentality, sieg, is it, or should I call it sieke? There is the sieke mentality that was started. You can even, my own uncle, Washira, would tell me how houses are being built. They were being built with Mau Mau mentality, because the colonial government forced them to be building the house in doors facing the road and nearer the road, so that when the Land Rover stops, the Mau Mau have no time to run out. So Kikuyu, because of freedom fighting and Mau Mau, they have that ability to keep secrets and whatever. They keep secrets on the same level as Pokots. Kikuyu would tell you something when he wants to tell you, especially if he feels that it is against his tribe. So somebody came, entered Shivachi Lukwa's place and said, Munene, habari, unajua ile kitu inatendeka? Said, no. Said, unajua, by the way, I'll talk about it later, that during the clashes, I'd even recorded that concerning Jenga, the former MP for Molo, who used to say that GSU used to train people at Menengai. So he went and talked to Shivachi Lukwa and said, Monene, unajua, tumechunguza sana. These people who are killing us, they are armed by the government. So he challenged him and said, how armed by the government? Says, if you see whenever they attack our place and shoot, you find that they use brand new bullets. Said, how? Said, okay, next time they attack a Kikuyu person, just go there slowly and pick the cartridge. And then there was an incident where people came from, they used to be called Kalenjin warriors. They came, attacked a homestead, which Kikuyu homestead. A lot of people were killed. And then Shivachi Lukwa had already discussed with some of his police officers. They went and picked up the cartridges. And they found that they were brand new bullets. And then that is when he added up a few intelligence reports and said that these are the Eldoret military bullets, because the bullets that are issued to the police are not from the factory in Eldoret. they are from abroad, and that is why they stay for a long time. And you see, for a method to show some, can I say, aging, it has taken a lot of time. So wherever they get their bullets, by the time they reach a police station, that thing has started wearing off. But these things were shining so much, and he took that and wrote a report, forwarded it to members of his DSC, said these bullets, I got information from my informer that they are from Elret. Can we investigate? Now, to him, he did it with an open mind because he wanted to be investigated to find out if these bullets, just like the Wajakoya case, where Wajakoya says that we should have bang plantations. You see, you have to be careful with the workers there because some may be putting them in socks to come and sell out. So he wanted to know whether further investigations to find out if one or two employees of the bullets factory was smuggling out bullets. When the letter reached vigilance house, another letter came now the other side, reminding him that he was already beyond the retirement age. So can you immediately proceed on your terminal leave? And then he said, I have no problem, because he knew he had passed the age. He said, I have no problem going on my terminal leave. But then, do I go as an acting senior superintendent of police? He was told, you go home, we look into that. Before he completed his terminal leave, he got a letter confirming him as a senior superintendent of police. He is the only person, those days, nowadays I don't think there is an acting senior superintendent of police. But during those days, there are two things that you could recognize an acting senior superintendent of police. He had a metallic head badge and he had a normal lanyard. So he never wore the force color lanyard and he never wore the cloth head badge. Tumetoka mbali.